All right. Today is a special day. This is a special episode. It is January 13th, 1913. We take you back a little bit. Today is Founders Day of the most illustrious, prestigious organization, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Incorporated. Today is the day. So we are here with my line sisters. There are 40 of us. One has transitioned to Omega. I could not fit 39 other folks in here. So instead, I have a good little cushion group that can represent the 40 Flames of Fortitude, because that is who we are. 40 Flames. Okay? Now, we are at the first segment. We're going to get right into it. Talk your shit. Can't nobody introduce you like you can introduce you. So, Adrian.
Yes.
You are a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. There we go. What is your number and line name?
My line name is Special Order.
Oh.
I know. Everybody does that.
Oh, yes.
Because I'm special. Mm-hmm. And those who know. My line number is 3030. Hey, Char.
Next.
Hey, y'all. My name is Jasmine Allen. Regarding Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, I am number 14 with the line name 2020.
2020. Now, let me tell you, for some, 2020 not a good year. What? Let me say this. These are my line sisters. We crossed way before COVID. Let me just say, she not 2020 because of COVID.
20-20 vision. I see very clearly. Yeah. I ask very good questions.
All right.
I get in depth. I want to know the of the no.
Point blank period.
And that's that on that.
Clarity. Not 2020 pandemic.
No.
Got it.
Good to know.
But I can shake your world too, just like 2020.
No, that's right. Talk your shit. I'm here for that. All right. And we want to double back real quick, because I also feel like a part of Talk Your Shit, the folks need to know what it is that you do as a career. But we'll get into that, because we're going to break this down with the principles of Delta Scholarship, Sisterhood, and Service. So when we talk about scholarship, let the folks know how intelligent Black excellence here in this room, these women of color, are in the world and the changes that they're making. All right. Next up, tell the people who you are.
All right. Well, hello. Thank you for having us. My name is Azu. I am the 28 on the line. My line name is Nigerian Queen.
Nigerian Queen. Let's get it. I love it.
Nothing but royalty.
Oh, that was a little saucy. That's all right. She's in the 20s, guys. I'm in the back of the line, but I'll get to that in a second. Anyway, well, thank you, Nigerian Queen. Next up.
Hey everybody, my name is Tanya. I am number 18 and my line name is Inquisitor, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to ask why. You're not going to just be able to like drag me around. I'm going to be like, where we going? What we doing? Why are we doing this? And then we're going to get right to it. So, you know.
Good. And let me just give y'all a little backstory about Tanya and myself. Me and Tanya have known each other since 95. Why have we known each other since 95, you ask? Because we are legacies. Our mothers are line sisters. And as a matter of fact, they're not only line sisters, but my mom is Mama Terrell's bag.
Yes, she is.
So we have been in this game for a minute. Some would even say destined to be.
You're right.
I'm just saying.
You're right.
We don't have a legacy clause. I mean, that's no shade.
That's a little bit of shade. That's a little shade.
I'm not shading anything. I just wanted to emphasize that we had to work. We had to work to get to where we are right now.
Touche.
It's in our blood. That's all I'm saying. It's no shade to no one. Well, some of you may not know this side of me, so I'm going to introduce it to you. I am number 35. I am at the back of the line.
Come on, back.
We hold the line in order. Okay? 40 women is a lot. It is a lot. The back of the line always had it together. No shade to none of my line sisters.
Oh my God.
We always had it together. I'm number 35. My line name is Motions. Why is my line name Motions? Because I do what it do. I'm smooth with the line dances. I'm smooth on the floor. That's what I do. That's what I was known for. And as you know, I'm a line dancer. That's what I do. Motions. And I mean, I feel like, you know, yeah, I like that. Motions. Goes with what I do too as a therapist. Sometimes I help people with their emotions. Get that play. Get that play. All right. Okay, so Line Sisters, again, I cannot express how special this is that you have taken your time to be with me today. So our next segment is all about wellness experiences. Lotus Livin with Char is really about, you know, holistic wellness and just, you know, being able to take care of yourself. You know, we like to, you know, this show is light overall, and it's really about lived experiences and, you know, what you do to be as healthy as possible. We are in a new year, only 13 days into 2024, which I feel like is going to be a magical year already. So in reflecting on 2023, what was a significant wellness experience that you had?
Therapy.
Oh, therapy.
Therapy.
She said what she said. And why was therapy pivotal for you, important?
So I've been seeing a therapist, I don't know, for 2+ years, and it seems like we keep transitioning from one thing to another, but overall it's like it's an outlet. Mm-hmm. And I created space for it. Mm-hmm. Not for right now, it's like maintenance. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, getting your nails done every 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. It's like taking care of yourself, going to the dentist. So I have a therapist and I would not change it for anything. Mm-hmm. It has been one of the best decisions to do it continually past the time that I initially signed up for it when I was in complete crisis, but I'm not. I think she might be ready to transition me, but we're going to figure that out. Yes. We're going to figure out how we can extend it. So.
Well, let me just say, as a therapist,
y'all trying to get rid of us? Oh, okay, good. Because
right. So she can clinically recommend,
okay,
right? You know, transition in regards to maybe titrating sessions, depending on how often you see her. If you see her every week or bi-weekly or once a month, she might say, "Oh, you know, we could space this out. We could titrate it because you're well, you're stable." But I think it was key, something that you said in regards to maintenance. You know, therapy is meant to be an ongoing process, not just when you're in crisis. Just imagine being able to be in therapy and you're well and stable. Yeah. In that process, you are pursuing prevention, you know, just like we would with medical treatment, right? If we have a doctor, we go get a physical every year, at least we're supposed to, in order to make sure we're well. And when we're not well, something comes up in our blood work or, you know, x-ray or whatever the case may be, we can then get ahead of it. And I think mental health is just as important. It should, you know, be just that. You don't have to go to therapy because something is wrong. As a matter of fact, you should go to therapy when everything is right. Mm-hmm. In order for you to add tools to your toolbox, so that when things are not at its best, you are prepared for those things.
Mm-hmm. I treat it like working out.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's a part of your wellness plan.
Yeah.
I love it. Mm-hmm. All right. Anybody else had a, you know, wellness experience you want to share?
I mean, I'll share that I have definitely been more committed to having a balance between my work and my personal. Because 2023, 2022, 2023, I was very much centered on my career and my job and building that space. And I was like, oh, no, hold up. Like, my blood pressure was going up. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't eating right. And it was all germane to my work and my profession. So I was very much committed to making sure I had a work-life balance. And that's been the transition. You know, I feel like that's a part of staying healthy as well, making sure you have good boundaries and, you know, you're really doing things for you instead of, you know, for your job or for your family or for you just have to put yourself first, and I've been committed to that.
Yes.
So
Rub some of that off on me, please. Send that energy of balance my way, as it is an area that I struggle when it comes to work. And that is what it is right now, guys. I'm human. And work surely overpowers my life. But that's okay, because I am in the pursuit of a Lotus lifestyle. I will be living. Trust me, I'm outside in 2024. Y'all see me, right? You would normally see me in front of the camera. I'm in front of the camera because I'm outside in 2024. All right. Next.
All right, so I'll add on to what Tanya said. So for me, 2023 was busy. It was a lot going on all the time between the personal stuff and the wedding and everything. It was just a lot. And making sure that I actually took my Fridays. So I'm supposed to be off on Fridays, but I always worked on Fridays because there was something to do. It was something for somebody and it was important to them. And I had to make a conscious decision to take the time, go get a massage, go get a facial, just sit down and relax so I could reset, so that way I could continue to work and do whatever I needed to do. So when it was time for me to rest, I took that rest.
Yes. I'm here for rest. We need rest, for sure. Yes. Jazzy.
This is going to sound so cliche, but I went to the Beyonce concert. That was
I
it.
know, life.
But it was very impactful for me. I did not realize that I was moving like a bullet train. And I asked my husband to get me one ticket because he bought me 2 tickets for the Anita Baker concert in Newark. And if you went there, you know why. My husband was like, I'm not buying you no more 2 tickets for nothing else. In short, it was an Anita Baker concert and it was a travesty. But he bought me that 1 ticket for Beyonce. And I didn't know who I was going to go with, who I would see, anything. I ended up going with some sorors in our chapter. We all sat in different places and spaces, but it was just a great way to get back to me and know who are you. Hello, it's nice to meet you again, Jasmine. That's what that concert did. It was a really big reset for me. And when you see the queen, you're like, she can do it. I can do half of it. And so that part was really empowering, but also just getting to know me. I've had 2 babies. I've had transitioned and moved up the ladder career-wise in the past few years. So I've just been busy moving, literally moving. And this year, my word for 2023 was settled. And that really helped me to start the process of feeling settled. Because I got to know me and what I like. And I mean, my husband also got a lot of special treatment for getting me that concert ticket. So that helped too. Just a lot, you know,
ain't nothing wrong with it.
A lot of positivity.
Okay, listen. Shut up, Alex. Alex, you did your thing with that ticket. You need to buy some more tickets if you need to get with, I'm just saying. All right. Listen, I love Beyonce. I went to go see Beyonce concert as well. I went to the movie, which was seeing the concert again, because she literally put on the concert on the screen.
She did.
But, I mean, definitely empowering. It was a show to see for sure. And I think, what really I take away from what you're saying is, that getting back to you piece, especially when life is lifing and things are going and you're getting married, you're having children, you're doing this, you're transitioning at work, you're doing this. It's like sometimes you just really don't have the opportunity to sit still. And I think language is important. The fact that, you themed your year around the word settled. Regardless of feeling settled, the preparation to enter into that space, I think, is important. I think my years as well, in 2024 for me, it's all about peace and liberation. I will be free peacefully, and that's significant to me, and in that order, because there are a lot of people out here right now free, but not at peace. And I refuse to not have both. It is a requirement. And so in getting back to ourselves and just speaking for myself, I'm going to do it unapologetically, free and at peace. So I'm here for it. Be open the floodgates to women and others. But surely that woman, like, who, like, yeah, I think she did something special on this tour. And with that album, I'm here for it. All right. Well, thank you. So we want to get into the topic at hand. It is Founders Day. If I need to remind y'all, if y'all just jumping on, January 13, 1913, I'll say it again because I can't say it too many times. Can't say it enough. The illustrious organization of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated was founded. So I ask, in general, why did you decide to join a sorority? In general.
It was a way to cast a wider net and extend my reach. And I don't know if I should say her name, but I had a childhood friend that, we grew up 75th and Ogans. Shout out to the West Oak Lane girls.
Yes, West Oak Lane.
She was like a sister. And I remember her, she went to an all-girls high school in Philly. And she went to, when I heard she was going to college, I was like, oh. And I had still been in high school at the time, but I had always admired her. And then we moved away and we lost contact. But I'd never forgotten her, but I knew she had pledged Delta. And I also knew that my mom had gone to Howard and that she wanted to pledge, but she never did. So coupled with all of that, and the fact that I am a social worker in my core, before I even went to school to be a social worker, before I got into the field, it was something that I always wanted to do because it was a way to extend my reach in terms of what I love to do. And that's working with and serving our community and mentoring.
Yes. Okay. Makes sense to me.
It's, for me, I am the oldest of 5 children and the first within my generation to go to college. There are more people who have not gone to college before me than who have gone. So being in this organization has supported me with being around what I thought at the time was like-minded women, not realizing the diversity that is within the sorority. But now, so thankful that I needed that diversity as well with women that have a certain pedigree. And I love to serve my community and I love to serve people. My career is serving the community. I am an educator through and through. So being particularly in Delta, as I was a little black girl lost at my local community college, Camden County, the person who ran a program, I forget what it's called, but essentially you get paid like by the college to work in different departments. Her name was Leslie, and she pledged Theta Chi, and she had elephants all throughout her cubicle, and I was like, girl, what is this? She was like, this is Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And that was my first introduction into any sorority. And from there, I always took an interest. Leslie was a great mentor to me at the time. And it always just piqued my fancy of like, I want to be like Leslie. I want to be a Delta. And that feeling just never went away. And so I was just very thankful that I had the opportunity to not only be a Delta, but to be a Delta in South Jersey Alumni Chapter.
Talk about it. South Jersey Alumni Chapter. Shout out to South Jersey Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. It is also the same chapter that my mother crossed and Tanya's mother crossed. So definitely a chapter close to my heart. Yes. All right. Hazu, what about you?
So I will say, I wouldn't have joined just any sorority. So it's not why a sorority, but why this sorority.
Well, that was the next question, but get into it.
So first and foremost, I'm always, I believe I'm a giver at heart, right? I want to do for the community. I want to do for people. And in every facet or every aspect that I've seen, that's what this organization is about. It's about giving back to the community. It's about being there for individuals who can't do for themselves oftentimes, right? So that's it's part of the reason why I'm in the military. It's part of the reasons why I do some of the things that I do periodically. Is of that's what it is. That's who I am to my core. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was no other option.
I mean,
seriously.
there was nothing else that was ever considered.
And that's it, and that's all. You heard what she said. Next. No shade.
No shade. No shade.
Yeah,
It's
nobody
not
ever
about
researched
women
anything
empowerment.
else, right? I think for me, a part of it is everything my mother did was always super cool. So when she became a Delta, and at her core, she is a giver as well. And I saw that drive to be of service, and she had imparted that in me. And I knew that being a part of a sorority whose foundation was service, a part of their foundation was service, was really where I was going to fit. And there was no other option, right? I never even considered anything else, because it just seemed organically right. And the public service piece of it is really what kind of drew me to, like, this is my place. And then I found my tribe as we grew in the sorority. So I think for me, it was definitely about service and giving back to the community.
And your mama wouldn't have it no other way.
She wouldn't. Like it wasn't even gonna happen any other way. But even if I wanted to push, I never even had the I think like she might have could have lived with me being something else, maybe, right? But I never had the desire. Like I always knew, like, you know what, this is what feels right.
Same.
So,
Same. And I think it really thank God in having the influence and the exposure at a young age. My mom was the first in her generation to go to college. And then, of course, that transition to myself. So, being a child and being able to have the exposure of an organization of women of color who are highly educated, who devote themselves to public service. There was no other option. I, too, never considered any other organization either. It just fit. You talk about organic. I'm going to have to say it was probably in my blood. You might pull my blood and see Delta Sigma Theta in the DNA. I'm just saying, like, I literally bleed it, at the end of the day. And there were no other options. I think what really stood out to me in regards to why Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, I think one of the things that stands out outside of service is that this is the only organization that stood out to me that has no problem getting dirty. Okay? We don't have a problem with marching. We don't have a problem with cussing people out. It is what it is. We don't have a problem with, going into the community, going to people's houses, raising money, advocating, supporting, standing up for the things that are right, pushing down barriers to the things that are wrong. It's like, it's never I don't know if I want to do that. I don't get that. It's okay, so what we doing type of situation. And I appreciate that as a person who considers myself to be a public servant. It could only be this organization. Why Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Jazz, and not any of the other organizations? And before my line sister answer that, let me just shout out to D9 real quick. We love you all.
Yeah,
we
got
really
love
do.
for all of y'all.
Brad, the producer of the show, Brad is behind the camera right now. He is a member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. Happy belated Founders Day, Brad. And to all the men of Kappa Alpha Psi. And Alex.
Yes, my dear husband.
Yes. But why Delta Sigma Theta?
The question for me is why not? Right? Delta is all about change. And when you look at the lineage of those who have volunteered and have done their process to be a Delta, they're phenomenal women, right? And I'm sure that any other organization can say that. But when I was coming into Delta, you look at a Shirley Chisholm. You look at a Loretta Lynch, right?
Yes.
You look at a Dr. Reverend Gwendolyn Boyd. You look at these phenomenal women, and it's like, yes. I at the time was a baby when I was getting into Delta. I was 22, something like that, which is fairly young to be coming in an alumni chapter. And certainly I'm still trying to find my way, but still was really there trying to find my way and wanted to align myself with women who really influenced me. And to your point, don't mind getting dirty and are all about change and are all about serving the community, first things first. That gives me a lot of pride. And so when I think about why Delta, it is when you look at those founding principles of Delta, and we're all about change. Your president stepped out and founded Delta Sigma Theta.
That's it. She said what she said.
I said what I
No
said.
shade. No shade. But I mean, I think it's a testament to, sometimes how being okay with being able to take yourself out of a situation and say, I want to do more. I want to be more to my community. This is not enough. It is, sometimes very challenging to do that, to say this is not enough and we need to do more. We can do more. We should do more. And I think that is the principle that Delta Sigma Theta holds. What about you, Delta Sigma Theta?
There was no other option. There was. It just never even was a conversation other than Delta Sigma Theta. So it wasn't. I mean, for all the things that was already enumerated, I just can't I couldn't see myself, and I wouldn't. It just wasn't a part of who I am.
Yes.
So, I mean, I show up, I'm a Delta. I don't have to have on any paraphernalia.
Ooh,
And we
like-
all know.
Yeah, you know what? You seem like a Delta.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, it's not.
That's right. We carry ourselves
Right. We show up as
in a way
Yep.
that no other shows up, is all I'm going to say. Yeah, I think that's dope. Okay. So Delta Sigma Theta represents scholarship, sisterhood, and service. I think that those three things, if anything, is at the top of the brain. When you know Delta, you know scholarship, sisterhood, and service, right? What is your definition of sisterhood? What is
This is sisterhood.
Oh.
This is sisterhood, right?
Yes.
You send out a message. Hey, Sands, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. Of course. It wasn't, I didn't even know when, what, how, what time, what day. It was like, sure. And then tell me the deets. Right? You say yes, and then you tell me the details. If I need something, it's like, yeah, it's done. But then what is the need afterwards? So, but I think a definition or a word, I think it could be a lot of things for me. It's a camaraderie. It is a space where you can share. A sisterhood to me is those that I can count on, whether it's spiritually, emotionally, sisters that there's not a why, or there's not a what is it that you need it for? It's like they're going to show up. So I don't think that that I can put it in a word. I mean, you can look it up, and by definition, it'll tell you it's a group of sisters or women that comes together. But I think living it and breathing it, I think it definitely evolves more to you become, it's like sisters. You, in some situations, they're like an additional family member. So I think it just, I think for me, it has evolved since I've become a Delta. And so, I take it to heart. Is something that I hold near and dear, and
It's a choice.
Expound upon that.
Yes,
It's a choice. So it's all that A said, but it's choosing to do that every day. 'Cause I'm gonna fight with you, and I'm gonna fight with you, and I'm gonna fight with you, and then we're gonna choose to kiss and make up, and we're gonna get over it. We're gonna talk about it, and then we're gonna go back to how we were. It's a choice.
Yes.
I'm gonna fight with you too. Don't worry.
No, you excluded me, and that was good. I wasn't even going to say nothing. I was like, she didn't say she was fighting with me because I don't fight with me. I love you too.
Yes.
Yeah. No, definitely, that's a good one.
Truly a choice.
Yeah.
And choice nowadays for me means intention. You have to be intentional about sisterhood, right? Sisterhood to me is not some tiny. I have an issue with some tininess. We either doing this or we not doing this.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent, pretty, the ugly, whatever the case may be. I think when the relationship is nurtured and secured, nothing can get in the way. I think you make a good point about, fighting, arguments, disagreements, whatever the case may be, but it's always about that bounce back. The relationship has to be strong enough, and you have to intentionally want it to be in order for it to bounce back. I think that's really important. When it comes to being in an organization like Delta Sigma Theta, and ultimately any fraternity or sorority, depending on how you come into, you're selected to be a part of the organization, chosen to be so. When we come in during a particular time, we are on what you call a line, right? These are my line sisters. We all cross together. Like I said earlier, there are 40 of us, 30 not living, one who has transitioned into Omega, which means that she has passed away. So there are 39 of us at this point. How would you define your relationship with your line sisters as a whole?
Complicated.
Okay.
But that's not a bad thing. Life is complicated, right? And so we go through ebbs and flows. Our relationships are sometimes up and down. We need middle women, right, to help support us in challenging moments. But so is life, and that's the beauty of it. I would describe my relationship with the 40 Flames as just a beautiful story. It is. 40 women who are all living in the same area. I know not one of y'all, right? I had never seen not one of y'all. And I lived in that town since I was born, right? And so has my mother. And so to even expand upon my circle, to get to know all of you and your families and your families and your neighbors, it's been such a beautiful journey. And that relationship it means the world to me. I adore my 40 Flames of Fortitude. And I will bust somebody's wall down in the name of my 40 Flames of Fortitude.
Yes, I share that same sentiment. I think that the relationship, has its ebbs and flows, but it's like, what relationship doesn't? Can you, pick a relationship that doesn't have an ebb or a flow to it, doesn't, grow, or doesn't have conflict, or, has transitioned into something else? In considering the fact that we were chosen for this organization 10 years ago, almost 11 in a few, I would say that we are not the same person. Older though, more mature, have lit, a lot has happened in 10 years. Let me say that, to myself, and, because I know you ladies, a lot has happened as well. And it's like, to reflect on how maybe, I was 10 years younger then, and things that I would say or do then, I definitely wouldn't do today. And I think that influences how we treat each other at the end of the day. But you still have to be intentional about growing into that, and being okay with, this was our relationship, but our relationship is now evolved into something else. I think that is important. I think, when Azu mentioned fighting, and of course we not fist fighting or nothing like that, but we're human at the end of the day. We all come from different backgrounds, different experiences, even different, professional. I mean, and Azu, thank you for your service. But, with all of these women in here, you've noted, what our careers are. So we're all very much established in what we're doing. And so we bring all of that, into a room with other women that are the same, in regards to their professional life and just being educated in all of these things. How would you say you navigate differences and conflicts within the sisterhood, and what strategies have you found effective in fostering that understanding in trying to pursue resolutions to those conflicts?
So,
not all jumping, but
Jazz look right.
Jazz, I don't have nothing to say about that question.
Jazz look on the side of the table.
Listen,
I don't have no problems.
So,
I don't have no problems.
Tanya don't have no problems. That's what she said.
I don't have
she's good at saying what she said.
said what I said. Yeah, no, seriously, I'm not the right person to answer that question because I don't feel like honestly, come on now. Go ahead, Jazz. You was looking at me at the table. Like, Azu, you want in?
I got you. So I'll say, coming into the experience with a humble spirit, right? So understanding that there are always multiple sides to a story, multiple ways to accomplish things. Mm-hmm. My way may not always be the right way. It just might be the only way that I know. Mm-hmm. So being able to listen to what the other individuals have to say.
Yes.
And then listening with an open mind and an open spirit, because if you are willing to accept the fact that their way might be better than yours, it gives you the opportunity to learn something new. Mm-hmm. And so if you're willing to do that, you can go into that situation and you can either defend your case and hopefully they will see that your way is right, or vice versa. But at the end of the day, understanding that the important thing is not necessarily to be right, but to accomplish whatever you're trying to accomplish, right? Because you're working towards something. That's really what the conflict is oftentimes. You're trying to get something done.
Yes.
So coming into those situations with that open spirit and open mind, whatever conflict that normally started gives you the opportunity to resolve.
Yes. I agree with you 100%. We're all in pursuit of the same thing. Right? Bettering our communities, bettering ourselves. That is the goal. And I think that sometimes, we overlook the fact that we are still like human, right? We still have like our own personalities outside of Delta, and we bring those personalities sometimes into Delta, and that could ultimately influence how we perceive something someone says, or how we talk to another person. Just because you're a Delta does not mean that that kind of absolves you from everything. It's like, no, not everybody in Delta likes each other, right? However, respect is required. And I think a lot of times, especially in what I've seen just over the years, not just in this sorority, but in my relationship with women, particularly women of color, I feel, in my experience, we confuse like and respect. We like to use them synonymously, but they're not the same. I don't have to like you to still show you respect and to still say, hey, are you okay? That I've never talked to you before, but if there's a need, if there's a collection that needs to be had, if you've had a death in the family, I'm still sending the money, because my respect for you has nothing to do with whether I like you or not. It has nothing to do with whether I agree with what you said or did. It's all right for us not to agree. Me not agreeing with you does not mean that we still can't have a relationship. And I think if anything, in my relationship with women, this is like where, I'm attempting to go. Like, hey, like we can still respect each other and I can love you from afar.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think too, also, it's respect for what you've committed to do. So I am respecting the fact that I committed to be of service. I'm respecting the fact that I committed to be your sister, to be your keeper when necessary, right? So even if I don't like you, I'm committed to still respecting what I signed up for, that I'm not going to see you going without. And yeah, okay, I don't really like you, but you stranded on the side of the road, come on, like, let's go. Out of respect for, we are a part of the same sorority, we are part of the same sisterhood, we pledge to each other these, principles. So I think it's a respect for what we stand for as Deltas, and a respect for just the human nature as being women, amongst each other. I think.
I agree. Absolutely. I think that was a mouthful. Scholarship. So we have an educator, social worker, therapist, military, and substance use director of an organization, right? Which is also under the mental health umbrella. In what ways does the pursuit of knowledge through scholarship contribute to personal and professional growth? Now, a lot of people don't understand or know, and this is not a secret or anything. In order for you to be a member of this organization, you surely have to have committed to the pursuit of knowledge. Okay? And not just in seeking knowledge, but you have to excel in the knowledge that you are seeking. Okay? With that said, there is a certain GPA that you need to have. By all means, do your research, look that up. That's not my job. I'm just putting it out there. It can't just be any old thing. So you gotta look that up. And to my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, for some of my more seasoned line sisters, the GPA has increased from 10 years ago.
They're gonna have to look that up.
Listen, so let me say this.
No.
I'm just trying to help. I understand. I was on this side before where I'm like, trying to seek information, and people were just like, don't want to give it, and it's like, I get it. However,
they could ask Jeeves or ask Google.
Oh gosh.
Oh my God.
Okay. Because Google has everything, right? They have everything
or
in
they,
their Google
yeah, okay.
search.
If you know it, just share it.
But that's the pursuit of scholarship, no?
A little bit, but it's also the idea of you have information that somebody needs. Give it. Why do I have to make you run all around Robin Hood's barn to get this?
To each his own. I'm gonna respect you on that journey.
You're gonna watch him on the hamster wheel, child.
Let me just say that we all have varying perspectives here, and I definitely feel like when pursuing an organization like Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, you do have to put in the work. You have to invest, right, in the pursuit. However, some things is common knowledge. I'm not going to give you the GPA, but yeah, look that up. You do have to have a particular GPA. However, because of our professional backgrounds and, our training and our education, in what ways does the pursuit of knowledge through scholarship contribute to your personal and professional growth?
It's hard to say. I mean, education is important professionally. I've been in my profession, in my career, with my agency almost 30 years. So, but I think at some point you want to continue to grow and evolve because the world is growing and evolving.
Yes.
And the people that you serve are growing and evolving. And if what you were doing 5 years ago still serves you today, then you might not be doing anything worthwhile. Yeah. So you, in that vein, you want to still pursue and grow. If you just look at the world, right? Mm-hmm. If you look at where social media was, I was in my 30s, my late part 30s when Facebook started, right? And I
Because A is the definition of black don't crack. We ain't even gonna put that out there. I just know black don't crack.
And I work with employees that they don't have a reference of Facebook really. Their social media reference is much different than ours. You know, the first mass shooting that I knew about was Columbine, right?
Yep.
Mass shootings are a dime a dozen today, sadly, right? And so the pandemics happened, and just for years, the world has changed. So I think you have to continue to evolve and grow the way the world is evolving and growing. Technology wasn't what it was.
Yeah.
3 years ago, we didn't know Zoom. I didn't use Zoom at work. I know some other private companies did and smaller companies did, but I didn't know Zoom in 2020 the way I know Zoom and Teams now. That's true. So, I mean, you have to have a willingness and a spirit of, you know, being a lifelong learner, because it's, I mean, you can't stay stuck in one place. And it's easy to, especially with technology and things of that nature, but education wise, I got an advanced degree early on in my career. And now it's like people are getting advanced degrees, like, you know, they giving them out. You get one, you get one, you get one, everybody gets one. And so
we're giving them out?
Yes.
Listen.
They're getting them. I mean, at least that's my reference from where I work, where I'm employed. But I think, you know, education is important.
Yes. And I think, you know, for sure with the world changing, and it seems even just a year ago, things are different than it was like now, which is crazy, you know, especially with, you know, social media. Columbine, I want to say, may have been the mass shooting that I knew of myself, the first one. So I think like we're overexposed sometimes. They're a dime a dozen because they were probably a dime a dozen then, and we just didn't know, because you had to actually read the newspaper or watch the news or live in that area or something of that nature. And so, you know, although technological advances are amazing, which is why now, you know, you don't have to have a journalism degree to have a podcast and, you know, do all the things that we do now. However, it definitely has unfortunately caused some other issues as well. You know, with the overexposure, we are just very open nowadays about a lot of things that I guess we shouldn't necessarily be open about. But I think that you summed it up perfectly. Service, being a public servant. Why do you think that it is imperative that we pour into our community?
So as a public employee, it is what we do. We have to protect the most vulnerable, because if we don't do it, who will do it? And so it's what I chose to do as a career choice, and it's what I am passionate about doing, and I'll continue to do it until I can retire in 2 years. But that's a whole different conversation. But you know, I mean, when you think back in social work and the Elizabethan poor laws, and I don't want to get too far down in the weeds of social work, but the community took care of its people and the vulnerable population, and that's what we should do. And that's why we have agencies such as mine, and that's why our organization is so important and critical, because it is meeting the needs of its community, particularly those who look like us.
Yes. And what does that look like? That looks like scholarships for students who are pursuing collegiate education. That looks like, you know, food drives during Thanksgiving, where, you know, we get a innumerable amount of donations, and we take those and put them into baskets with a very pleasant and welcoming presentation, and take it to homes of individuals who may not have food, during that time frame. That means going out into the community and educating individuals about their right to vote and getting them registered to vote if necessary. That means going to the Capitol to speak with Congress and, to the president and, to all congressmen and women about, the needs of our community when it comes to changing laws and policies and, all of those things. That means having, a sock drive, a glove drive, a hat drive, so that when it's freezing outside like it is right now, at least those who have been displaced can at least have their feet warm, their hands warm, their head warm. And like, I can literally go on and on and on, because at the end of the day, that's what Delta does.
Mm-hmm. And you talked about the social action side, so that's another big part of it. But you talked about it.
Huge part. The social action, as a matter of fact, social action is what propelled this organization to what it was. It was the Women's Suffragist March, right? Advocating for our right to vote and to have a voice way back when, right? In the pursuit of the 19th Amendment. And of course, as you can see, today, we are still attempting to sound off as to what we need and require as women in this country. A lot of things have changed within this last year when it comes to our rights over quite a few things, but we continue to pursue. We continue to fight, and we continue to navigate those barriers and that red tape. I did a little something different because this was a special episode. I put a call out to individuals who had some inquiring questions. And so we're going to have a little fireside chat.
Oh, we're going to start from Jazz and go to
no.
Tanya, and then you will have answered it all.
Now, can I put a little disclaimer out there real quick? I just want to put a little disclaimer out here to the world. These questions have not been, these are from lay individuals who are not a part of the organization, who wanted an opportunity to learn things that they may not have been able to learn, either because they don't have access to a person or, for a number of things. Now, anything shared here, I'm putting this disclaimer out here to protect my pearls at all costs. It's just a perspective and personal view. Correct. And it's not an indication of anything in regards to how the organization feels about these questions. Okay, but in talking about,
I was about to say that, turn it around.
In talking about the pursuit of knowledge, though, I think that when I think about, when I was interested in the organization, there weren't really a whole lot of people I could talk to. You would think that having a mom who was a Delta would change that for me, make it a little easier. However, it's very difficult with my mom to do that. When I say the pursuit had to be an independent one, it was an independent one. Only thing I got was In Search of the Sisterhood by Paula Giddings. She said, "Here you go," and left me to my own devices, as she should have, because I had to work for my letters. But I think it's important, if we are a growing organization constantly, and even in 1995 when my mom became a Delta, when it was my time, things were very different than it was then. And so, even in being open, if she was about some of the things in regards to the organization, it was like, oh no, we didn't do that. And I'm like, oh, but we did. And so, it's different. So I just want to be able to, bring some of these questions to the table. Let the people know it's all right. Are you really a part of a sorority if you didn't pledge while in college, but instead after graduating? Ah! Ooh. We
Yes.
just jumped into
What
it,
else?
right?
I mean, yeah. Like, yes.
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 Okay, so let me explain. We have opportunities to join the organization if, of course, meeting the requirements of the organization while in college. And if we don't have an opportunity to do that, we may have another chance after graduation. Now, there are a lot of reasons why a person may not pledge in college. Number one, your college may not have a chapter there. I know a lot of women who was in the pursuit of joining a sorority and went to a PWI, which is a predominantly white institution. A lot of PWIs do not have Black Greek letter organizations there. So you didn't have a choice but to wait until after you graduated to pursue a graduate chapter. Some chapters in the collegiate level might be suspended during the time that you are at college. And so if the chapter is suspended, which is something that happens at times, when are you going to have a chance to do it? It would have to be after. So yes, I would, at least in my opinion, would say my place is just as significant as it would have been if I was in pledging a collegiate chapter. Did I answer that?
I think you answered for everybody.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
Good answer.
Is it true that the Black women who join a sorority become rich?
What?
How does that happen? Let me just say.
How do you even? I mean, is that a question or it sounds like more like an opinion? It doesn't even sound like a real question. That is
Maybe
Well,
a
I mean,
perception.
where'd the perception come from?
Rich?
I don't know.
Yeah, rich.
But what does rich look like, right? You can, because
Look at the educated.
Hold on, wait.
We gonna look at
If you
rich.
go with that, I'm gonna say yes. Yes, we do. We become rich with love, rich with sisterhood. Yes, we
Rich
do
in
become
culture,
rich in culture.
experience,
Yep, we
and
do
adventures.
become rich.
We should have, that person should have defined rich first.
And I will say, if we're talking in very layman's terms regarding finances, you may end up leveling up, right? When I started an organization, I was a paraprofessional making no more than $20,000 a year. I now make that times.
Listen,
I am now
talk your
acceptable.
shit. She done
But wait,
backtracked.
is that
to
because
the first
iron
segment.
sharpens iron, and so the individuals that you are around?
Yes. Most certainly, being around women, particularly my lovely sorors in the South Jersey Alumni Chapter, and also I must mention in the North Jersey Alumni Chapter, they have certainly assisted in me leveling up and becoming a better educator, which assisted me in becoming a better school leader, which allowed me to be the first Black principal in the school district in which I serve. So, yeah, financially they have helped me level up. But they also help me level up in what I'm able to do professionally. And so in that sense, rich. I mean, my salary may be rich for someone who may be making a certain X, Y, and Z a year. Would I consider myself rich? No. Because I be door dashing on the sign too.
I know
So
that's right.
it ain't, the money's ain't money in yet. But again, you know, it's all about what you deem as rich and what that means for you.
For sure. I mean, I think you summed it up. Just like an educator of Delta Sigma Theta would.
Good job.
That was a Delta answer, not the organization. From I'll keep going. Do you think your sorority is better than another sorority? If so, which one?
No.
And I digress. I would say this. We are all in the pursuit of the same thing.
Yeah.
Every sorority, I have friends, I have family, as a matter of fact. Shout out to my family members who are a part of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Shout out to my friends who are a part of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Shout out to one of my very, very, very close friends who is a part of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. at the end of the day, we are all in the pursuit of enhancing our organization and the community and ourselves. We are all women who, for our own lived experiences and choices, just like we all have shared, chose what was aligned and organic for us.
Yeah.
And that's it, and that's all. I wouldn't consider one better than the other when we all doing the same thing.
And to your point about sisterhood, thinking about those women who are in other organizations and men who are in other organizations, it certainly, when we talk about that sisterhood, is there too. If somebody's on the side of the road and they have Alpha Kappa Alpha plates, I'm gonna stop and say, sis, what's going on? You good? What do you need? Because the fact that you're in your organization already tells me something, and I'm going to make sure I look out for you. It's no different from, we're all from the city of Philadelphia. You're from Germantown. They're from South Philly. Like, yeah, but we all from Philly. You know what I mean? We all rep the same, but different parts of it.
Yeah. I'm here for that. Period. Yeah. I mean, you got into the organization, then we already know, what your stock is supposed to be made of. And so we won't go with the assumption until you show us otherwise. I digress. Have you ever sabotaged someone that you knew that wanted to pledge and did it work? Oh, that's a fire side. That question.
Who are these people asking these questions?
I mean, the people want to know.
Why do they think we have so much power?
Sabotage.
I mean, the people want to know. I'm gonna say this.
I think
the
in
answer
general,
is no for me.
No, and I think that has nothing to do with a sorority or fraternity
Yeah.
in general.
It's just
That's
a
a
person.
character flaw.
Yeah,
if
very
somebody
much so.
is
Yes.
actively trying to go out their way to do harm to you, or that's not indigenous to an organization. Now, I think you're going to see that in any aspect of your friend group, your family groups, your work groups. I don't think it's just something that would hold true for any of these organizations. So.
Yeah.
On the flip side, though, it's also not going to be sometimes as easy as just asking a question and getting the answer in layman's terms. But there's a balance. When you think about sabotage, I'm sabotaging you, giving you the wrong answers for things, telling you to do things that you shouldn't do. That is being a saboteur. Versus, I'm going to make you work for your answer. That is essentially, I want to know, if I put my name on you, is it going to support my legacy or is it going to diminish my brand? I want you to be an asset, not a liability. So I may need to just see if you will be an asset or a liability.
And to that point, Jazz, I think when you look at employment, people are researching companies. They're doing their homework. They're reaching out, calling people and saying, hey, I'm interested. People call me all the time about a job. And I'm like, okay. What are your skills, your knowledge, your ability? What do you know? What are your expectations? It's no different. I think that if you're looking for a career in a particular field, you do your research. You Google them online. You try to figure out who's a part of that company that could perhaps get you an interview, that could talk to you, that may have just gone through the interview process. But I think in general, I think it's the same type of, you do your research about the company that you potentially want to be employed by.
Yes.
But keep in mind that employee does research about you as well. They look at your social media. They'll look to see if you are the type of person that they want to employ.
Your resume,
Correct.
your background check,
Correct.
to that extent.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Noted.
I like the job analogy. That's actually a very good one. I didn't think about
Listen, that's coming from a social worker who's been in the game for 30 years, who has
Almost
seen
30 years.
almost 30 years, who has seen, I'm sure, a handful of more than enough resumes and whatnot, as well as letters of interest in this organization, and can decipher, paper versus was for real. I digress. Do you feel like you are your authentic self while in a sorority, or do you mirror the other women around you? This is an interesting question for me. Because it triggers one of when being your authentic self and imposter syndrome a little bit. Like, can you really be you in this organization? I would say that too is where you are personally in your life. Char is Char in Delta, at the Lotus Livin Counseling Services and Wellness Retreat, at Journey to Lotus, at home, in North Philly, in New Jersey, in Delaware, wherever I am, I bring me with me. So I've chosen to show up my authentic self, whether I'm received or not. And what I've learned is that when people are really about you, when they really accept you, you don't have to choose to be you or someone else. I can show up me. Flaws and all. B said it, right? B said it.
If she said it.
If she said it.
If she said it.
That's it.
It's to be said.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all. I think so. I do think that at times it can be challenging. I think, just like any other human, I think women oftentimes compare themselves to other women for whatever reason. I think we've all done it at some point in our lives. However, if we go back to the fact that this is a sisterhood, my responsibility to you is to pull you up constantly, not leave you back there. And so, yeah, showing up your authentic self.
But to your point, again, relationships within a sorority or outside of a sorority are the same in terms of women. I think women groups, whether you're in some different organization, your friend group, your family group, whomever, it's the same in groups. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to see the same things with different people, different personalities, your coworkers, and you're hanging out with your coworkers after hours. But I just don't think it's indigenous to a sorority in terms of how women show up to other women and how they interact in groups of women.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I would say that, if you are interested in this organization, do your research. That has been the common ground. Jasmine has made it very clear that you ain't getting no information from her.
That's not what I heard her say.
That's not true.
That's what I heard her say.
That's not what I heard her say.
This is what you call being your sister's keeper, right?
Maybe that's not what she meant.
I don't know. That's what I heard her say.
I didn't say that.
She did not say that.
You can perceive whatever you want to. I didn't say that.
You can always run a tape back.
We can run the tape back. However,
And even if we run the tape back, that's not what she
said.
What's up? I'm my sister's keeper. However, yes, do your research. I would say, I think the most important information that I could give you is to not wait until the last minute, right? If this is really something that you want to do, don't wait until you hear about an intake or a rush. You should be doing your service already, because we are looking for women who this is common. This is not new. I'm a public servant with or without my letters. I was going to still be what I am. I was still going to pour into my community. I was still going to be a person who advanced my intellectual capacity. And I was still going to be a person who desired relationships with women who were like me in the pursuit of all the things I just said. Don't just do that a couple weeks before you hear the intake. I'm gonna just say that you will
You'll be disappointed.
for sure.
Well, and the advice I would give anyone, whether it's a career or an organization, the job or the career or the organization that you seek, that you seek to be in tomorrow, you prepare today. The job you want tomorrow, you start today. You don't start applying or preparing when they announce it. Because if you want to be a principal, you are a principal before the announcement shows up. And you have the degrees, the letters, the experience, the references with you, because that's who you are. You are a leader. You don't take class and, show up and like, I'm a leader because I passed the class. Or that they're offering something that, So, I believe that in general, in terms of professional development, you don't start when they start looking for...
Stay the course. It could be years. If you graduate chapter, if I'm talking to you, stay the course. And listen.
Even undergrad.
Undergrad
is tough too, man.
Stay the course, right? You want to make sure that if this is really something that you want to do, you remain invested. It's just not a good look to flip flop. I'm not talking about nobody. I'm just saying, if Delta is ingrained in you, it's ingrained in you. Don't do what's comfortable or available for the sake of wanting to be a part of something, because you could go to church or you could join a club if that's the case. What we do is, I'm just saying, this is all my personal opinion. Let me put that disclaimer out there.
Please. Say it again one more time.
She said join a club. That's what she said.
I said join the club. Yeah, they got clubs.
The
running club.
Who?
The running club.
The running club.
Yeah.
They have walking clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you just want a sense of chess. Line dance got line dance clubs. I can tell you a few.
They have golf clubs. Bowling clubs.
Wait, is that the one that Tiger Woods' wife or ex-wife hit the different club?
Oh, different club.
All I'm gonna say is,
I digress.
He's still married? I thought he got
No, he got divorced.
Yeah. She left him.
And took off.
On the way out, she grabbed it all.
Listen, and you know what? She should have.
Oh boy.
She should have, but that's another conversation.
That's right.
This is about Lotus Livin. Yeah, so, I'm going to just let you know, stay the course. It's coming. Every chapter has their own time frame. Stay invested. Could be 15 years from now, but you'll get there. You'll get there.
Oh my gosh. It's short.
At some point.
And also in the world of social media, where everything is a DM, it is so imperative to differentiate yourself from the pack, because you are vibing for your spot in your place. So that may look and feel like you're doing something in the physical. You writing a letter to that P.O. box, doing things that, again, separate you from that DM.
Y'all sliding in people's DMs like that?
Oh, I manage the social media. Yes, the DMs are full.
Ooh. Well, I definitely, we definitely need to do this again. But what a better way to bring in Founders Day than with some of the women that has grown to be a part of my family and my life, and that I love unconditionally, that have supported me with every endeavor, including this one. And never ask any questions. You can't get a better core of people than what I got. So Lotus Livin means transcending existence by intentionally creating and sustaining a well-balanced lifestyle, overcoming adversity and contributing to the well-being of mankind while embracing the evolution of who you were meant to become. I think based on our conversation today, we were all meant to become what we are. As of right now, we are members of the most illustrious organization, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And as we celebrate, I would like to give you a token of my appreciation, a wellness bag as a thank you for coming and in your pursuit of a Lotus Livin lifestyle.
Thank you.
So the one that
That's
has
heavy.
the yellow bag in it is Adrian's.
Thank you.
So if you have a yellow bag, it's Adrian.
Yellow bag.
That wasn't because I favored her over another.
It
It's a
wasn't.
little something else.
Oh, I like that. I like a little.
So thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Hopefully this is a
that's
nice
my little-
tool in pursuit of your Lotus Livin.
I love
All right,
her.
y'all. Happy Founders Day.